I'm here at PlayCon with Martin Wallace, designer and publisher. Martin, how are you going? How are you enjoying the con so far?
No, it's really good. It's really good to see Playcom people stepping up and trying to create a bigger convention in Australia because it's something we've not had over here. People in Europe and America, they're used to these really big conventions, but it's a rarity over here. So no, it's really good.
Before we jump into what you've got showing today, let's sort of go back a little bit. You've published and made a lot of different games. If someone, I'm sure a lot of people played Brass Birmingham, studied in Emerald, Age of Steam, but what is a Martin Wallace game? What sort of experience did you want players to have?
Oh, God, it's very early in the morning for that kind of question. What on earth? Yeah, ultimately, the game design, you're trying to create a good game, depending on what level of people you're aiming at, and I'm trying to reach different groups of people. So yes, with Brass, I'm reaching those people who like to play heavy economic games. At the same time, I do have lighter games. You know, we've just announced a game called Zero to Hero, which is a light trick-taking game. So in whatever you're doing, you're trying to create a product that has a potential market. Because it's got something unique about it, something that's a hook that people hopefully will enjoy, and that drives sales.
Speaking of sales, I've got a question for you. So Brass Birmingham, sort of beloved game. It's recently sort of got the top spot on BGG list, which for some people is a big deal. It's a nice accolade. Does that, as the designer, does that affect you at all? Does that help you push games? Does it help you, like with other publishers? I know you're a publisher yourself, but is it anything except for a bit of a bragging rights?
I'd probably say the latter. At the end of the day, when you're trying to pitch games to other companies, they're only going to take the game if the game is good. Yeah, it's nice. It helps you really good. So I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but you still have to turn out good games.
So I guess as you're only as good as your last game kind of still applies in if you do have a storied career.
Yeah, and also, I mean, for me personally, as a designer, I like to see what can be done. So I don't like to keep doing the same thing. So it's like Steam Power that we've got here. This is an attempt to do a light, accessible train game that still has enough in it to appeal to gamers. So you're trying to hit that crossover mark between gamers and non-gamers. So it's still that kind of intellectual exercise of creating a product where there's a potential market, whether it be at the high, complex end of the market or somewhere towards the mass market.
When you talk about sort of trying to find the right audience, have you found that's a different experience now that you're also doing publishing?
To be honest, we're fumbling. We are struggling, we are stumbling in the dark. At the moment, I'm taking the attitude of publish it, put it out there, see what happens. So again, Zero to Hero is an example of that. In the old days, I would have just taken that to different companies and just tried to license it. What I'm doing but when you're doing that, you're just taking a prototype around. But you see, now I've got a team. I've got a team of people. I've got a full-time art director. I've got part-time artists working for me. I've got a business manager. I've got a graphics guy. So I just said to the team, hey, we're going to, and literally I told them like May. Yeah, it would have been in May. It's like, hey guys, this is what we're going to do. And it was the end of May. And literally we were ready to publish the game 2 weeks later.
That's a fast turnaround.
That's a very fast turnaround. And we're only going to do a short print run. We'll take some to Essen, sell them at Essen. So we're doing 2,000 units. But the thing is, now I've got a product where I can go to companies and say, here's the finished thing. Okay, and they like that, you see, because they don't have to then think, oh, how do we turn this into a marketable product? So I've already had an email from a very large French company saying, we'd like to license this game. And we've done zero publicity. Okay, so this is generally the model. Produce the thing, not worry too much about what the market is, and then see who's interested in licensing it.
So you're focusing on making the best games possible rather than let's make the games and then also spend all the time marketing and pushing it out and going to different events.
To a degree. I mean, it's difficult when you're in Australia going to events. It really is. I mean, we're doing Essen with a booth for the first time in a long time. If things go well, then yes, we'll look at other events. But we're a long way from anywhere. Yeah.
Now let's talk about what you've got here at the booth this weekend. Can you tell us what you're showing off, what's coming out soon, or what's just out?
Yeah, so the two games we're pushing here are Casus Belli and Monster Rock. So Casus Belli is a game I started on in March. It's a bit of another one that's come along fairly quickly. This is a big Space 4X game, which I am hoping will do well. Basically, I decided to take a leaf out of Awakened Realms book, and I decided to rip off everything. So it's a mix of Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who and Babylon 5 and Guardians of the Galaxy. Any sci-fi trope you can think of, it's in the game, all mixed up and with the numbers filed off, so I'm not going to get sued, hopefully. But that I'm really excited about this one because it's very different. When I say Space 4X, it's like, yeah, but it's not like your normal Space 4X. I like to think of it as Space 4X for people who don't like Space 4X.
My first thought when you said it was, I wonder what the runtime is.
First time you play it, you're probably looking 2.5 to 3 hours because it's not a simple game. It's a complex game. I did run it with a group who knew the game, 4 players, and we got it done in 1 hour 45 minutes. So when you know the game, it moves quickly. It plays from 2 to 4. We're also going to do solo rules. 2 players, I can crack out a game in 60 minutes or less. So it can move quickly. It's one of those things. It depends on the players. There's still a lot to think about. But yeah, that's the game that I'm demoing here. We also have Amanda Milne from Shill Mill, and Mandy and myself are working on a game called Monster Rock. So that's getting towards the stage when it will be ready for launching on crowdfunding. So Mandy's demoing that one. So this is a game that's been in development forever, but it was basically Spinal Tap meets Dungeons and Dragons. It's silly. It's silly, but it's fun.
Both of those games sound pretty exciting and sort of different audiences, but I think both of them will find their mark. If people were interested in those games, obviously they're coming soon, but do you have some rough ETAs or avenues where people can find out more?
There's already, for Casus Belli, there's already a BGG page, and I think there's a landing. I never get involved in these things. I leave this to Cassie. But there will be a game found page for that. So you can go to wallacedesigns.com.au and you'll get more information on that. Monster Rock is a little bit further back in the presentation cycle, and I think we're looking to launch that on crowdfunding sometime in the first quarter of next year. So at this point in time, it's a case of watch this space.
Martin, thanks for chatting to us and telling us about your career in design and publishing, as well as what's coming out. Obviously, Wallace Designs is a place to check out for information about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.